Hi guys, in this video I'm going to explain how to build a chat with your data frame or data application using Reflex. Reflex is a Python open source framework that enables you to build web apps in pure Python. I think that is super amazing. So that's what we're going to use for this project. And let me show you guys how the application is like. So we have this is the application. You have where you're going to put in your questions. And also we have this drawer here, this sidebar. You can put in your OpenAI API key here and also select the file you want to chat with or communicate with. So I'm going to use a Titanic dataset.csv. Then I'm going to click submit to start chat. Right after submitting, you're going to see CSV file uploaded successfully. You can now interact with your data, and then I'm going to come down to this place and say something like, you can ask any question. Let me see, I'll say, what is the data set about? And then we have this answer. The data set appears to be about the passengers on the Titanic, right? You can ask any question. I can say, describe each column of the data set. And then it gives us description of each columns in the data set. And then I can ask another question, say how many um, rows do we have in the data set? And then it gives us there are 891 rows in the data set. And notice this scroll bar went down to show us this result. So we're going to implement this to make our scroll bar to go to the bottom so as to show us the latest results we have. Right. For this application, I use LangChain to build this project. I use Reflex, and let's get into the project. Right. First of all, you're going to create a virtual environment. In my own case, I've created mine. To create a virtual environment, you're going to use this command npm.pm, right, to create a virtual environment. And then to activate it, you're going to say source pm/bin/activate, right? So it's going to create a virtual environment for you and activate it. I already have mine here. Then the next thing you're going to do is to install the packages you're going to use for this application. The packages we need Reflex, and for this project I use version 0.4.6. Also, you're going to install Pandas. I use 2.1.1. You're going to install OpenAI. I use version 0.28.1. Then you're going to install LangChain. I use version 0.0.3.326. Then you're going to install LangChain Experimental, and I use 0.0.36. Right. So these are the packages we are going to use for this project. I've installed them already, so I don't need to do that step, but you have to install it. And then the next thing we are going to do is to initialize our project folders or our project templates. Now Reflex has this command, so you say reflex init is going to initialize our project folders or folder for us. So next, initializing my data frame chatbot is going to use this folder name for the project. So I'm going to, which template would you like to use, either blank or sidebar? I'm going to use blank, right? Now when you select blank, it's going to give you that web folder, asset folder, then my data frame chatbot, the same name as your root folder name. Then you're going to have .git ignore requirement.txt rxconfig.py, right? So that's what blank is going to give you. And then I'm going to clear this command. So I'm going to go to the folder where I'm going to write my code. So I'll go to my data frame chatbot, and then I have init.py, and then I have also my data frame chatbot.py. Right, I'm going to select this. Reflex by default gives you um template code, default code that is going to like help you to start off. But we don't need all of these, so I'm going to clear them. Now the first thing I'm going to have in this is import reflex as rx, right? And then I'm going to create a state.py file in my DataFrame chatbot folder. So I'll say state.py, and inside state.py I'm going to have import reflex as rx, and then I'm going to declare my class. So I'm just going to put this here, rx.state. So basically, states in Reflex. So this is the place you're going to define your event handlers, your state variables. Basically, for example, when he's maybe clicks on a button, he's going to call an event handler you defined here, right? So I'm going to have this, and then I'm going to put pass here. I'm going to come back to this, and then I'll go back to my data frame chatbot.py. In this, I'm going to import that state class. So this state class I have here, I'm going to import it here. So I'll say from my data frame chatbot dot states import states. Right. So I'm importing the class I have here. Let me expand this a little bit. And then what I'm going to do next, I'm going to work on the sidebar. So for example, for the project, this sidebar we have here, I'm going to work on this. And to work on this, I'm going to use Reflex Drawer, right? So I'm going to use this component in Reflex. This is how it works. So if I click on Open Drawer, it's going to bring out this sidebar, right? So what I'm just going to do is just to get this code. Then I'll go back to my code base, and then I'll say something like depth sidebar underscore drawer. Then I can say return. I'll paste that code here. I'm going to bring this in properly. So I have the sidebar component, right? I think what I'm going to do next is to display that on the front end. So I'm going to define an index, a page, def index, return rx.flex. This is going to be a flexible container, and then I'm just going to place the sidebar drawer there. So this is going to be like my page, my index page. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to initialize my application. So I'll say rs.app, and then I'll come down and say team is equals to rs.team. I'll put in the appearance here. I'm going to give it a dark background. So I'll say is equals to that. And this is fine. And then I'm going to add my index page. So I'll say app.add page. Then I'll pass in index. Right. I think everything is fine so far. Right. So I'm going to run my code. I'll say to run your code, you say reflex run. Enter. Starting reflex like we said, like I said, I'm using version 0.4.6. Now the latest version as of today is 0.5.1. That is fine. Go back, local code 2000. Okay, now we have our project. So I have the drawer here. Okay, this is fine. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to style this drawer. Please give it a dark background and let's see. To do that, first of all, I'm going to make this to be fixed. I don't want it to be moving. I'm just going to make it to be fixed. So I'll come down to this open drawer and then I'll position is equals to, I'll say fixed. I think this is fine. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'll take this out. I'll give it a background of 1A. It's going to be like a blue kind of background, 202C. The padding is going to be 0.2 and then the color is going to be white. I think that is fine. Let's see. Has it compiled? It's still compiling. Okay, nice. So we have this color now. That is fine. I'm still going to give a color here, the padding at this point. So I'll say padding is equals to 0.2 and this is fine. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place a text here, just like your header text. Come down to this place and say there, head text. This is going to return a flexible container. And then it's going to have a text component, and the text is going to be chat with your data. Right, I think that is fine. I'm going to place this head text component. I'm going to place it here. Let's see. Just compiling. I have the text. I'm going to put in some styling. So what I'm going to do is I'll give this a size of 4. And also I'm going to align it to be at the center. Make it bold. It is going to be bold. And then the color definitely is white. What else? Yes, I'm going to say the flex container is going to be justify. I don't know why I don't have something like suggestion for all of this. So I'll put center. Then the width is going to be 100%, and the margin bottom is going to be 5 pixels. Okay, now the text is okay now. So it's a little bit kind of bold, right? What I'm going to do next is find the inputs text inputs box where you're going to input your OpenAI API key. So it's going to be beneath this. So I'll just come down here and say def OpenAI underscore API underscore input. Then this is going to return an input component. This is going to have placeholder of entire OpenAI API. I'm just going to give it the weight is going to be 22N. The type is going to be password so that it doesn't show the text when you input your OpenAI API key. Let's see. Compiling, loading. Okay, I've not added it to, so I already defined it. So next thing I'm going to put it below the head text. So it's going to come down beneath this. Then I'll place my comma. Now I have it here. Perfect. Awesome. So basically this is going to have a value and an unchanged event handler. I'm going to put here value is equals to state dot open AI underscore API underscore key, comma on change is equals to state dot set underscore open AI underscore API underscore key. Right. So what it simply means is that when the user inputs their OpenAI key, it's going to set that as the OpenAI API key. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my state. I'm going to go to my state and define this OpenAI API key. So I'll come down here and say this is going to be a string, right? So we don't have this error statement here. Okay, so that is okay. That is okay. Let's see what we have got so far, what we have done so far. Let's see what we have done. We have this perfect. Then the next thing I'm going to do is what I'm going to do is I'm going to define the upload component so that you can be able to upload files here. It's going to be here. Since it's going to be below the input, I'll come down to my code. I'm going to do it here. So it's going to be a this vertical stack. Instead of this, I'm going to have reflex upload rx.upload, and then I'm going to put in a button. It's going to say select file. I'm going to give this a color. So I would say RGB 107, 99, 246. And then I'm going to give a background color to be BG to be white. Awesome. I'm going to give a border 1 pixel solid RGB. Let me just copy this and paste it. Comma. So this is going to be the button that when you click is going to enable you to select a file. And then I'm going to put in a text. This text is going to say drag and drop files here, or click to select files. Then I'm going to give this an ID. ID is going to be my border 1 pixels dotted RGB 107, 99, the same thing 246. Then the padding, I'm going to give this a padding of 5 pm. Multiple, let's leave that for now. Accept. I'm going to give this. You can only accept text slash CSV. CSV. I should give this multiple to the course. Can only accept one file. Then what I can do next is to say max files to be equals to 1. And then I'm going to put in a margin. So I can say margin top to be equals to 50%. Okay. For this, I'm going to, so when a user selects a particular file, it's going to like show the file name. So this is going to show the name of the file the user select. For each of the file, I'll say rx.selected underscore files. I'll passing the ID. So let me just copy this and paste it here. And then I will say rx.text. It's going to show the name of the file when user selects any file. And this is what we have. I guess I need to put a comma here. Okay, nice. We have the upload component now, so you can select a file. Right, so I select this Titanic data sets, and it's going to show the name of the file. Right, perfect. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put in a button here. So when you click on the button, it's going to upload your file, and then you can now start chatting with the data set. I'll come down below this page start. I'm going to say rx.button. Then I will say submit to start chat. I'm going to give the variant is equals to sub margin. Give this a margin top to be 10 pixels. And then I'm going to say on click. So when the user clicks this button, it is going to call this event handler. So I'll say state.handle upload. State.handle upload is going to upload the file for us. So I'll pass in rx.upload underscore files, and then you put in the upload ID. So I'll say upload ID is equals to my upload. Right. So this is what I have. Comma. So I'm going to, I don't know, normally I see this error statement. I guess I'm going to open an issue and maybe solve it on Reflex GitHub repo. I normally see this when I run my code. I'm going to open an issue for it. Anyway, so far we have this state event handler. What we're going to do is we need to go to our states and then declare the events. So for that, first of all, I'm going to come down here and say file path is going to be a string. Then I'm going to declare the events handler for handle upload. Since it is part of a class, I'll say self, and then I'll pass in the files. This is a list. Rx dot upload file. Right, so this is going to handle the uploading of the file. This should be in small letter. I'll say for filing files, for each of the file, you say upload data is equals to no bit await file dot read. Right, so this is going to read the file and save it to upload data variable, and then I'll say out file is equals to rx dot get upload underscore there directory, and then I'll put space, then the file dot file name self dot file path. So I'm going to assign the parts of the file to this variable called file path, because I'm going to make use of it eventually in my code. I'll still explain what I'm doing without file dot open. Now let me explain. So we have this. Initially, I have this button. When you click on the button, it's going to call this event handler. This event handler is going to accept your file that you want to upload. It's going to go through, it's going to read your file and save it to upload data variable. And then it's going to give you can say, think of it to be like the paths to your file. And then I'm saving that part also as a string to this file path variable. And then what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to open that file as file object. Then I'll say file object dot write. And so this is what I have. In summary, think of this to be, so this is going to create a folder for us, uploaded files folder, and then it's going to place that folder into that file you upload into this folder. Right. So when I run the code, you're going to see what I mean. So I'm going to reflex run. Okay, it's loaded now. So you're going to come down here. When I select it, so you have the button, right? You have the button here. I'm going to select a file, choose Titanic dataset, and then I'll click submit to start chat. Right. So when we go to this, notice we have Titanic dataset, right? So this is what is going to like handle the submitting of your file for you. Right. Then the next thing we are going to do is a confirmation that your file has been uploaded successfully. Maybe a text above this chat with your data. Right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll come down here. After the file is uploaded, I'm going to put in a text. So I will say self dot upload confirmation is equals to CSV file uploaded successfully, you can now interact with your data. So I have this text there. Then what I'm going to call it in my state. So I will say upload confirmation is going to be a string definitely. And then I'm assigning an empty string there. I think this is okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to define the component that's going to show the upload confirmation. So I'll say def confirm underscore upload, and then it's going to return rx dot chakra dot, let's say, text. Then first I'm going to call the state dot upload confirmation from the state upload confirmation, then comma, I'm going to pass some styling. So I'll say text align is equals to center. Okay, that's fine. Then I'll say comma there, and then I can say font weight. And font weight is going to be, let's say, bold. And then I'm going to say color is going to be green, just to show a success message to the user. Right. Then I'm going to copy my confirm upload component, and I'm going to paste it in my sidebar drawer above the head text. Right. So I'm going to paste it here, put my comma there, and then we're going to see what we have built so far, just to show you how it works. So if I go, it's loading my application. Then let's see. I'll click on the open drawer, select the file, the current data set, open. Then I'm going to click submit to side chat. Then you see set the file uploaded successfully. You cannot interact with data. I think that is fine. And then I guess we are done with these draw components. The next component we are going to work on is the place you're going to type in your question. So it's going to be below here. I'm going to go back to my code, and then above the index I can say I want to define the input question first. So this is the name I'm going to give it. You can call it anything you want, and then it's going to return rx.flex, a flexible container again. I like using the flexible container. Rx.text area. So this is going to be the place you're going to type in your question. I'll give this a value, and the value is going to also be in my state. So I'll say state.question. A placeholder is going to be at a question about your data. On change, I'll say on change is going to, so when you change the text, it is going to set the question. I guess you understand this on change now. And then I'll give this a weight of, in this case, I'm going to make this to be responsive. So for a smaller, so I'm going to say 515 M, 20 M. So this is going to be make it responsive. So on different screen sizes, they are going to contain different width. So I'll say 45 M, and then let's say 50 M for this, 50 M, and 50 M again. Okay, that is fine. Let's give it a color. The text color is going to be white. What else? Background color is going to be dark. The height is going to be auto. Right, so we have this text area, and then I'm going to put in a button that you are going to click to submit your question. The button is going to have an icon. This icon is going to have a text of send. Right, so when I do this, I'm going to display so you see what I'm doing, and then it's going to have a box. Let me say ask as what start. And the next thing is going to be let's see. I'll give this button size 2. I'll give it a variant of both. All of this is just styling. These variant size, all of them, they are just styling. And then I'll give this color to be white. The text color to be white. So because I have this question, I'm just going to get this, go to my state, and say question. Question is So we need to see what I've done so far. I have an input question box, and I have a button. Let's see. Okay, I need to call these components. I need to call it in my page. Let's see what we have. Okay, I need to apply some styling. This is what we have. I need to make this to come to the bottom. It's going to be at the flex. Come down here and say direction is equals to row. Line first end. Line is at the end. Then the position is fixed. Bottom is going to be 0. Gap, I'm going to give this gap of 8 pixels. The padding, I'm going to give this a padding also. Let's say 16 pixels. The left 0, right 0 also. Justify. Justify is going to be center. Need to be at the center. Margin, I'll make it to be auto. A lot of side border top. I'm going to set this to be 1 pixels solid. Alright, I'm going to use reflex color templates. I'm going to say, and then 3. Background color, I guess when I'm done with this, I'm going to show you guys. Basically, I'm just going to make it to be at the bottom and also give it a color. And then center everything. So this is going to be more, and then give this value of 2. Yes, this is fine. Let's go back and see. Perfect. Now we have the input question box, and also we have the button, right? So for the button, notice I said icon to be sent. Then you have it here, and then also the text is at. Then we have them, and then those styling is going to make it to be at the bottom, and also it has this background color of that. Right. Yes, we have the sidebar now. We have the question tab. Then the next thing we are going to work on is basically when the user inputs their question and then click on this ask button, we're supposed to send the question to LangChain. LangChain is going to communicate with OpenAI and then generate the answer. And then we're supposed to display the answers on this page. Alright, so that is what we are going to do now. So when user typing a question and click ask, it's supposed to call an event handler. So we are going to do that. First off, we are going to go to our button. So for this button, we are going to have an on-click event. Yeah, on-click is equals to states dot answer. Right. So when user clicks, it's going to call this event, and then I'm going to go to my states and declare an event handler answer the same name as what I called it here. Right. And then this is the function, the method. Definitely, I'm going to put self here. So answer is going to do is going to check if the file we have, if the user has uploaded a file. So I'll say if I'm going to import os, if os.path dot exists. So, notice in this handle upload we have this self.filepath, right? It's going to save the path of the uploaded file. If there's any file path, if there's any file, what we are going to do is we are going to okay, I need to install Panda, import pandas, and we are going to read that file. So I'll say read underscore csv, then I'll pass the part of the file. If any this part exists, we are going to read the file. And then what we are going to do next is we can now pass the data frame to LangChain agents. First of all, I'm going to import those agents. So I'll say from LangChain. Remember we installed LangChain. From LangChain experimental dot agents underscore to git import create pandas data frame agents. Yes, this is correct. Agents will get one. Then from LangChain dot chat models import chat open here, and then I'm going to import, I need this also, from LangChain dot agents types import agent type. We need these three packages: chat OpenAI, create pandas DataFrame agent, and agent type. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an agent. This agent is going to, so I'll call create pandas DataFrame agent. It's going to accept chat OpenAI. Then the temperature is going to be 0. I want it to be deterministic. And then the model is going to be GPT dash 3.5 bubble dash 0613. That is fine. OpenAI underscore API underscore key is equals to, I'm going to call the user's uploaded OpenAI key. I'll pass it here, and then I'm going to pass the df we read here, the agent, and I'll pass in the agent type. Right, LangChain has different agent types. I'm going to use this OpenAI underscore function. Oh, okay. Let's see. I guess I got this correctly. Then I'm going to declare an answer is equals to empty string, or we generate the answer. Just going to declare that there, and then I'll say self dot chat history. Basically, I want to append the question and answer to a list of. I'm going to append it to a list. Append self dot question. We have not generated the answer yet. Then answer. For this chat history, I'll copy this or declare it in my state. So I'll say chat history. This is going to be a list of tuple string. String. Right. I first of all I check if the file user has uploaded a file, and then I created an agent, and then I specified an answer, an empty answer. Now this chat history is going to contain the question and the answer. Alright, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to yield that to the front end. Now you understand the essence of yield in Reflex. Basically, yield is going to help you to send responses to the front end, right? I'm going to yield that to the front end, and then I'm going to say output is equals to agents dot run, and then it's going to call the question, the user's question. Then I'm going to clear the question from the input. So I can say self dot question is equals to this from the input component. I'm also going to yield that. Then for the last, what I'm going to do is for item in output, for each of the outputs, I'm going to say answer is equals to item, and then self dot chat history. I'm going to explain all of this is equals to self dot chat history, and then this is going to be the question. The question is going to be placed. You remember, chat history is a list of tuple, right? And then you're going to have the question as one of the item in the tuple, and then the answer, right? So the last item in the list and the first item in the tuple is going to be the question, and then my answer is going to be the second item in the tuple. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to right? This is what we have. Guess everything is okay. Okay, when user posing a question, pause the button. It's going to call answer. Then okay, that is fine. But then it's going to generate the answer, but we cannot see the answer unless we declare a component that is going to get the question and answer and display them. Right, so that is what I'm going to do next. To do that, I'm going to declare a charts component. I'm going to declare a chart component. This is going to return box container. This time I'm not using a flex. And then I will say for for each state for each state dot chart history, it is going to call another component which is QA, and I'm going to pass the question first and then the answer. So this is going to be a component that contains the question and answer, and I'm going to declare this component. But first of all, I'm going to declare this QA component now. It's going to be above the chart component QA. So you notice I'm passing the question and answer. So this component is going to accept arguments. It's going to have arguments. Um, this is a string. Answer also is a string. Return rx.box rx.box is going to return the answer. It's going to return first of all the question and then text line. Make it to be at the right. The question is going to be on the right hand side. I'm going to give it a color of black. Copy this, comma. This is going to be the answer. This is going to be at the left. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, I have that. Then I'm going to declare a chart content. So this is going to hold the charts component rx dot return rx dot container chart. And then this charts going to call it my index so that I can see it in my page. It's going to be at the middle of both sidebar and include question. So let's see. Basically, what I've done so far is when user clicks, it's going to call this answer event handler. Answer is going to generate your question. It's going to generate your answer and save both the answer and question in your chat history. Then in my front end, for me to be able to see the question and answer, I use this chat component. And then it's going to go through each of the question and answer and then call this QA component. QA is going to accept the question and answer and then return both the question and answer. Then I use this chat content to hold this chat component, the container, and then I pass it to my index. Let's see. Put this in double quote in bracket. So let's see. Okay, I noticed I needed to put in some style into this chat component to make the chat component show up. So I'll put in py to be 8, then my flex to be equals to 1. The weight, I'm going to give this 100%. Um, max weight, I'm going to give this responsive styling also, and this is going to have 15 m, 20 m, 40 m, and again give this another. So this is just make the weights to adjust according to your spring size or the weight of your spring. So it's going to take different weights according to your spring. So I'm going to give this 50 m. I'll give add a padding. X is equals to 4 pixels. Align underscore self is equals to center. Center alignment overflow. I'm going to give this hidden padding bottom is going to be 5. And then margin left, I'm going to make this be responsive again. So for this, I'll say 4 em, 6 em, 8 em, 10, 15, and 15 again. I'm still going to add styling to this question to make it show. Okay. For the question, I'm going to give this BG background, or background color is going to be let me see, BG color. I'm trying to get a unique color and give it I guess. Then margin left. Margin left is going to be, let's see, 20%. Padding 1 em. Border radius. All of these, I'm still going to show what I'm doing and then explain what I'm doing. I'm just trying to give it a styling. This is going to be 0.5. Then box shadow, I think RGBA 0 comma 0 comma 0 comma 0.15. Yes, that is. And I'm going to show. Then I have 0 pixels, 2 pixels, and 8 pixels. And I'm going to copy this and paste it for this other box component. Then I'll just change color. I'm going to leave this EAFD. This is okay. Then before I show this box component, I'm going to put in a conditional rest con. This is going to show the answer is going to show only when I have an answer. Only when I have an answer, then the answer is going to show. If I don't have an answer, it's going to show box, an empty box. Yeah, this is what I have. Yes, we're going to test again and see if everything is sorted out. And if we are going to see the chats when we ask the question. It's in my API key, select file, Pynecone dataset. Okay. Then let's see what is the data set about. Okay, we have it. Okay, nice. We are getting the question and the answer. And so I needed to put in the styling so that we can be able to see the question and answer. Then if I ask another question, describe each of the columns of the data set. Let's see. So notice it gives me the answer, but then this scroll bar doesn't come down to show me the latest output. That is what we are going to work on now. That is what we're going to do. Right, for that we are going to use an initiative. What I'm going to do now is say def hidden button. So I'm going to declare an hidden button. And then this button is going to I'll say hidden flex. This is going to return rx.flex. And then I'll give this an ID. I'll explain it, the essence of this ID. I'll say and it's going to say go to the bottom. And then give it a background color. It's going to take the same background color as my appearance. So I'll say black. And then I'll give it a color, a text color also of black. Yes. I'll place this hidden flex in my chat beneath the chat, and then I'm going to go to my answer event handler. Then I'm going to go to my answer event handler, and I'm going to call a JavaScript code. Basically, this is going to be responsible for taking the scroll bar down. So in Reflex, to call a JS code, you can use rx or call script command. And then I'll say document dot get elements by ID. Then I'll pass in the, what did I call it here? I give it an ID of go to the bottom, right? And I'll say dot grow into view. Okay, let's see. Now, what I did here is I declared an hidden flex. Basically, it's going to just be like a flexible container, and I placed it below the chart. So anytime I have a chart that comes below, this hidden flex is going to be below, and then because you're going to click on the answer button to get your answer, it's going to call this script. Then this script is going to call this ID, and then scroll tries to go into the view of this ID, which is going to be at the bottom. I guess I'm going to show you the application so that you're going to understand better. Right there. So I'll put my API key. I'll select a file, submit to Snapchat, and then I'll say what is the data set about. I'll try to make it to I'll try to make it the scroll bar to then describe each of the following. Let's see. Make this perfect. Goes down. Right? Goes down. So that is that. That is that. The idea is just to, so at the first instance, that hidden component is going to be at the top. And then because it is placed below the chart components, because this text is going to be, now when we have this answer, it's going to be at the bottom at this point. And then because I have this, that's JavaScript code, it's going to make this scroll bar to come down so that it's going to be at the same point as the hidden component. Right, so that is that. The next thing I would like to do now is I would like to implement a component, a loading state component. So when I ask a question, it's going to show that it is loading your answer. That's what I'm going to do now, I guess. So to do that, I'm going to declare a component. So this is going to be reflex skeleton component. It's going to return, so in chakra, it's going to return a chakra dot container. The- Then we're going to have in chakra we have this skeleton circle, right, to show the loading states of your components. Skeleton circle, I'm going to give it a size of 30 pixels. Then it's loaded. Now this one is going to control if the component is going to show or not. And let's say loaded. Then the speed is going to be 1.5. Text align center. I'm going to give it a general style. I'm going to give the container styling of display. Let's justify contents. I'll make it to be at the center, and then align item also items also at the center. Awesome. Notice it's loaded. I say state dot is loaded. So I'm going to declare this in my states. Take this down a little bit. And this is going to be a boolean field. That's a bool is equals to true. When it's loaded, it's not going to show the components. When it becomes false, it's going to show the components. So after declaring it here, I'm going to go down to my answer. What I'm going to say is when I'm processing, before I process my answer, I'll say self dot skeleton loaded. I'll say false. So that's going to show that I'm trying to process my answer. The component is going to show because it is false, and I'm going to send that response to the front end. Then after the question has been output has been generated, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to say self dot is anything loaded equals to true, right? And then the components will stop showing. Then the next thing I'm going to do, I'll go down to my chart component where I have my chart, should be here, and then it's going to be below my chart. Now it says skeleton component. This. Right. So let me show you what I've done. What it's going to do. Yes, this has loaded. Let me see. With this select file. Okay, still loading. Wait, still loading. Select the file. Submit. Okay. What is the data sent? I'm just using this. So notice you have this loading exactly. So this is what I want. Then how many rows and columns does the data set have? Notice exactly. There's a high state corner rows and so forth. Nice. I guess we are almost done. We're almost done. The last thing I would like to do is to show an error text. So when the user does not upload, puts in an OpenAI key or upload a file and and is going straight to ask a question, I will show an error message and tell the person, please input your OpenAI API key or please upload a file. So to do that, I'm going to need a component for that. I'm going to add that component. So I'll say def error text. Error text is going to return rs.chakra. Remember, you can also use chakra components in Reflex. Then it's going to use a modal. chakra components, the modal components of chakra. Modal is going to RS chakra dot modal overlay. RS dot chakra dot modal contents. Content is going to have a body. RS the chakra. Most of these components you can go to Reflex doc and you see how they implement most of these components. So I just get them there and then I'm just like typing them here. This is going to have a state. The error message is going to come from my state. So I'm going to check if there's an API key. If there's none, it's going to call this modal. Then the next thing I'm going to have is the footer. rs.chakra dot modal underscore footer. Footer is going to have the chakra component, the button, which is going to have a text of close. Basically, when you click that on click, it's going to call state. I'll declare this state component state.change so that to close your modal. Um, is open state dot show. So this is going to either show or not show the modal. I have the component. Let me check if what I've written is correct. Chakra vista, modal, modal overlay, modal content, modal body. Okay. Then call state.error message close. Okay, let's see anything. Let's see. Then the next thing I'm going to go to my state to declare error message and show. So at this point, I'll say error underscore message is going to be a string. And then show is going to be a boolean, either show or not show. Then I'm going to declare this change event and lag. So when you click on the close, it's going to change show to def change self self dot show equals to not self dot show. Okay, right. And then I'm going to put in those messages. First off, I'm going to clear. Guess I should clear the confirmation text so that it doesn't just be showing no confirmation equals to this. Then I'll check also if self dot open, yeah, API key equals to an empty string. What should happen? I'll say self dot error message is equals to please enter your open, yeah, yeah, self dot show equals to, then I'm going to, then I'll come down if there's no file. No, so not uh, open. Ensure you load a CSV file server string equal to the okay, I guess we are done. I have the error text component that is going to show. Then I have these messages. Remember, I need to call the error text. I have it here. Loading now. Since I didn't put any API key, then I click ask. Notice we have this modal. Please enter your OpenAI API key. And if I put in my OpenAI API key, I didn't put a file. Ensure your code is certified nice. So I guess we have a working application now. Everything works. If I select the file, I can submit that and then I can ask questions. I can say how many columns and rows of the data set. Let's see. The data set has this. Then describe it. Then what is the data set about. Then I can say something like data set about. I can say describe of the column of the data set. Meanwhile, we have this loading skeleton component live. Then look at this program went down perfect. So I guess we have a working application. So guys, I noticed I put margin left initially instead of margin right. So it was supposed to be margin right. Now the effect is going to be like this. When I impute the key, select a data set, submit to start, and then I can say uh many rows does the data set have, and then notice demarcation, the spacing between the question and answer, right? That is what that effect is going to give us.